Good evening. Welcome to the 6th Annual Student Leadership Awards Ceremony. My name is Carrie Schumacher, and I am the Grants Chair of the Associated Student Government. I am excited that we are back in person for the first time in 3 years, and I'm pleased to serve as one of the MCs for the evening, along with John Ginsberg, Director of Student Life. I will now read CCC's land acknowledgement, and I ask that you take a moment afterwards to reflect on the meaning of the words. We acknowledge that the Clackamas Community College campuses reside on the traditional homelands of the Clackamas, Cascades, and Tumwater Band of Chinooks, as well as the Tualatin and Pudding River bands of the Kalapuya and the Northern Molalla people. They lived and prospered by maintaining strong cultural ties to the land and through wise management of resources. As signers of the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855, they were removed from their homelands to the Grand Ronde Indian Reservation, where they became members of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde. Please join us in taking this opportunity to thank and honor the original caretakers of this land, their lives, and their descendants that live on as tribal members today, still carrying on the traditions and the cultures of their ancestors. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be with you and serving alongside Carrie. I'd like to call your attention to the program to help navigate the evening. Unfortunately, ASG President Josiah Smith encountered unexpected circumstances that prevent him from being able to attend this evening. We missed the opportunity to hear words of leadership from him, and we wish him well. So therefore, the first part of the program will be first hearing some inspiration from College President Tim Cook, followed by a recognition of those students who are graduating in 2022 with Sarah Deer. Then for the awards portion, either Carrie or I will come up to back to the podium to briefly introduce the presenter prior to each award. When each award recipient is announced, they are asked to come to the front. There's a blue X. I will hand a certificate to the recipient and they can get their photo taken. If the recipient is not present, we will make sure to get their certificate to them, and also all award recipients will receive a congratulatory gift card sent to their email. After Carrie and I wrap up the evening, we invite all the nominees, recipients, and supporters to gather for various group photos. We need to give thanks to those who made this event possible. Your program recognizes some folks working behind the scenes to make today successful. Please join me in thanking Michelle Baker, Daniela Castro, Amanda Coffey, and Anissa Reinders. Additionally, it is great to have a student photographer for the evening, Ayla Pashana. Setting up these tables, including my last-minute changes, was Greg Castaneda with Events and Conference Services. Thanks to Greg. And I want to give a huge shout out to Gordon Christensen, who on very, very late notice was able to arrange a live feed of this so that some of you could be joining us remotely. Thank you very much, Gordon. Do we know if we have people joining us? I didn't tell you I was going to ask you that, but I was just curious. If the answer is 0, don't tell me. I believe we have another member of college leadership present in addition to President Cook, who would be Casey Layton, our Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. Thank you, Casey, for always supporting our students. We all know that this has been another challenging year. Hopefully, we have also seen tremendous accomplishments despite the hurdles. Likely, at some point, we have needed someone else to lean on, to vent to seek encouragement from, or to simply be with, whether physically distant or right next to us. I'd like to give everyone here an opportunity to express gratitude to those who have supported us to get where we are, whether at CCC or in our personal lives. Please take a moment to think of someone whom you would like to appreciate for helping you during the past year. And in just a second, I'd like you to say their name out loud. So take a moment. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. My students in class. Thank you. If the person you mentioned wasn't able to hear you, I don't know, maybe they're on TV, please consider approaching them at your earliest convenience and letting them know the impact they have had on you.
Now on with our program. I have the honor to introduce our first speaker. Without further ado, I now have the honor of introducing our next speaker, the president of Clackamas Community College, Dr. Tim Cook.
Thank you, Carrie. Thanks, John. So can I just take a moment and say how great it is to be in a room with all of you tonight? I tell you, not to be staring at a computer screen, and actually some of you I think I remember, but I have to like do this and like to figure out if that's really you or not, and just to be here together is just wonderful for me. I was really looking forward to this tonight. And also, can we just take a moment and recognize all that you've been through and persevered over this past year, and the fact that you still managed to be here tonight and with each other. So can you please congratulate yourselves and congratulate others for getting it done. Well done. It's certainly been something, and we all deserve praise, I think, for being here tonight. So I've been thinking a lot this last couple of years about lessons learned from this pandemic, and I'm kind of a leadership junkie. I read a lot of leadership books and think a lot about leadership in general. And so I've been reading a lot about sort of what lessons have we learned from the pandemic that we'll take on afterwards, and sort of what sort of skills do we need to know to survive. So I ended up kind of synthesizing some of my reading into these 7 skills, and I would just ask you as I read through these to kind of think about times that you've utilized these over the last couple years, and then also maybe how, as you move forward, how you might use them, or if you don't currently have them, maybe how you can develop these. The first one is flexibility and really adaptability, and who would argue that we've had to do that like constantly, right? we think we're going to be going somewhere, and we turn around and, well, where's my mask, or how do I get this done? So really, our ground is constantly shifting, and this idea that it's going to sort of stabilize, I think, is something that we sort of need to dispense from. That it'll continue to be adapting, and we'll continue to have to know how to adapt and figure out ways to be adaptable and flexible as we move forward. So that's the first one, flexibility. Second one's candor. This idea that we can have honest conversations that are unambiguous and just really be direct is become more and more important. I don't know if that's partly because of communications gotten more difficult as we've tried to do that electronically and otherwise, or if it's just because there's so much information out now that it's difficult to weed through it all. But the ability to really be able to speak clearly, unambiguously, and have candor, I think is going to continue to be really important too as we move forward. I know I certainly appreciate it from people when I'm talking. I like to be direct, and I like to hear direct information too. Third one, reliable, fact-based communication. Need I say more? I see the print here, fake news and the rest. So anytime we can, not that you guys are fake news, sorry, but we hear all the time right now, and it's like, okay, how do we really decide what's true and what's not? And it takes a lot more work to sift through. So as we're as we are leaders, really doing what we can to make sure that our information is reliable and make sure it's relying on facts. And that whenever we can, we really disaggregate that information, we really show people where it's coming from. And I think that's the way to build trust back in this information that we get as well. The more that we can do that and the more people see that, the more critical that will become. So if you're playing at home, and I have all those of you playing at home, thank you for being here too. Empathy is number 4. So empathy, really being able to understand and try to not necessarily walk in someone's shoes, but really feel and understand sort of what people are going through. We can't need that more now. We need that more now than ever. When you think about everyone is struggling in some way through this, that it hasn't been easy, I don't think, for anyone. And really being able to express empathy to our friends, to our colleagues. And if this is something that maybe you're not as good at, make sure that you surround yourself with people that are. And it's really important that we are in places and that we're sharing and showing this wherever we can. I think that will help us survive these as we continue on, because it's, whether we get to some new normal, whatever that looks like, I think we're going to continue to have challenges too, and empathy will continue to be an issue. 5th one, hybrid teams, learning to deal with a hybrid world. John made a comment tonight, thanks Gordon for coming in at the last minute here and putting that up. I know at the college, we're setting up many of our rooms now for hybrid learning, for hybrid teaching, hybrid meetings, and the rest. Our world will probably be somewhat of a hybrid world for now, forever, maybe, who knows, where we'll just get used to either popping on from home to a meeting if we can't make it, or like this where we have these options for people to do that too. The challenge, I think, and as I've been kind of managing some of these meetings, it is more difficult. It's more difficult to make sure people are engaged and that you're still communicating with the people that are not in the room and the people that are there as well. So I think we'll get better at that as we continue to use that skill too, but it's something to keep in mind. Number 6, humility. Again, we're all struggling, we're all working through this, and nobody has the answers. Nobody's figured this out. And you can see that from leadership all the way at the top, all the way down across the country in different places. People are kind of trying to do their best. And so to be able to really be humble and really understand that when we make mistakes, and we will make mistakes, that we don't know it all. Last year, when some of you were here last year, it was a pretty crazy year. We had pandemic, and then we also had wildfires where we had to vacate the campus. We had ice storms where we had to vacate the campus. We had record heat where we had to vacate the campus. It was just this weird year. And I remember talking to a mentor of mine, and I said, where's the chapter in the book about how to run a college during all these natural disasters and a pandemic and the rest? And she's like, Tim, you're right in that chapter. And and I thought about that. I think we're all kind of writing our own chapters right now. And so you think about how we navigate that, and just being really humble about what we learned and how we can grow and learn through that is going to be really critical too. And then lastly, the 7th one, being an active listener. And I think you're all in this room because you probably have these skills, these listening skills, and this ability to really sit down and hear what other people are saying and really understand and listen for understanding. It's communicating via Zoom, communicating in these different ways is really challenging. And it requires us to even listen that much harder and be present and not be distracted in the rest. So it's something else too that continue to work on. So 7, there's probably, if we looked at this, there's probably 7 more too, but those were the ones that kind of resonated with me that I wanted to have you think about tonight. I suspect, again, because you're in this room, because you persevered, because you're resilient, you probably have these skills. But as we move forward, I think you'll have opportunities to use them too. Kudos to all of you. Thank you for sticking with it. And I'll just leave it with, again, I'm just so thrilled to be in the same room with all of you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate your advocacy for students and their success, and taking a part of your playbook. Number 6 was humility. Lori, I apologize. I missed thanking another campus leader in the room. Lori Hall, our Chief Information Officer, thank you for being here as well. And while I'm at it, Dustin Baird, Director of Student Academic Success Services. Thank you for being a great colleague and supporting many students. Okay, so next, we will be recognizing those students who will be graduating this year. According to the RSVP form responses, there should be about 9 students who could make it here today who graduate. We'll see how many there are. To praise your efforts and welcome you into the world of CCC alumni, please welcome the director of the CCC Foundation, Sarah Deere.
Hi there. How y'all doing tonight? Yeah, can you hear me in the back? Can you hear me in the back? Good. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening and celebrating the outstanding students that are in this room and beyond. As John mentioned, my name is Sarah Deere. I'm the director of the CCC Foundation. For those of you who are unfamiliar with our work, we are a nonprofit connected to the college in support of student accessibility, success, and completion. We also are responsible for our alumni network. Raise your hand if you're an alumni. I see a couple in the room. Yay! We are committed to providing partnership, supporting students as they navigate their education and aspirations beyond CCC. Ways we do this include providing scholarships. Anybody in this room a scholarship recipient by chance? Raise those hands, yes! We also provide emergency aid for students, as well as student service funding for areas like the food pantry and the Veterans Service Center. And also grants, such as the ASG's child care grants, transportation grants, and of course, textbook grants. Very quickly, just running through a little bit of gratitude here. On behalf of the CCC Foundation and the Alumni and Friends Network, I would like to recognize the value of all of your leadership and thank each of you for working to make the student experience better. Your dedication and involvement at Clackamas Community College has sculpted a culture of which students, staff, and community members may thrive. Before honoring our grads tonight, I just want to do a quick shout out to one of your peers for their service this year, Madalena Larkins, in the back there. Madalena has been our representative on the Foundation's board of directors, and she has provided pivotal insights to ASG students' needs. Additionally, I'd like to thank Madalena for her participation on the search committee to hire the Foundation's next executive director. This was an added service that she provided this year, and it enabled each candidate to interact with a student directly, and it made all the difference, so thank you, Madalena. The Foundation is responsible for facilitating the Alumni and Friends Network. As such, I'd like to give special recognition for those students who will be graduating this year. So if you are a soon-to-be graduate, would you please come walk all the way up here? Yes! Can we please give these folks a big round of applause? Okay, future alumni, in your hands is a small token of our unbounded appreciation, excitement, and hope for your future. Inside your gift, you should find my business card. I hope this gesture will encourage you to not be a stranger as you move on after graduation. You are CCC made, and I thank you for sharing part of your journey and dedication to community service with CCC during your time here. There are many ways to inspire others to do the same. One way is to share your story. Future students would be so inspired to hear about your lives, the infinite possibilities you choose to explore, and what you did here to make that happen. I look forward to getting to know you a little bit further along your future path and wish you all congratulations here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. And congratulations to all of our graduates. Now we move into our awards portion of the evening. As an important thank you is due to those who submitted nominations for an award, since without those nominations, there would be no awards. Thank you to the students, faculty, and staff who took the time to recognize the excellence demonstrated by our students inside and outside of the classroom. Give some applause to the nominators.
Yes, thank you, nominators. And since I've been doling out thanks each time I come up, I think the other employees in the room include Ray Atkinson, a very dedicated member of Student Life and Leadership Department. Brianna Villalobos, who is our peer assistant coordinator. And Melissa Jones, who may be the lone faculty member in the room. Thank you so much. Okay, back to the awards themselves. While the nature of an award nomination process means that not everyone who is nominated receives an award, it should be noted that being nominated means that you are seen as a leader in someone else's eyes. This in and of itself is something to be proud of. Therefore, I will now read the list of nominees. Please save a big round of applause until I have finished reading. Here are our student leaders. Iris Bonillo, Marta Burchett, Zhang Cao, Laura Canada, Andweli Castleberry, Emily Dallas, Eddie Diaz, Blue Hill, Madalena Larkins, Joe Lomolder, Mikey Mercer, B. Noakes Borge, Carla Phillips, Carrie Schumacher, Mary Sicard, Josiah Smith, Colleen Walker, Mary Whitman, Anastasia Zinkina, Esenia Zinkina. Please give a huge applause for all of these great students among us. Since I often get asked, I will also note that we don't share who nominated you. That's up to the nominator to reveal. So if you're wondering who nominated you and what they said, look around the room and maybe you can figure out who it might be, or bug somebody later.
And now, the awards. As we mentioned before, when the award recipient is announced, please come up to the front and receive your certificate and get a photo taken. The blue bags. If the recipient is not here, we will be sure to get it to them along with their gift card. To present the club's award, please welcome the ASG Club's Chair, Ben Mouse.
John was gracious enough to write me a speech, so hope you all like it. Clubs provide avenues for students, student interest, and also add a variety of activities to the extracurricular life of the college. We recognize leaders within those clubs that have been nominated by their peers and advisors for their efforts. We also recognize the challenging time that has been over the last several years, as well as the particular appreciation that those club members have been added. We received award information for 5 groups. First, the CCC Welding Club. Our recipient is described as someone who has a positive attitude, shows up at the club meetings, and inspires others. The CC Welding Club Member of the Year is Martha Burkett. The next club is the Student Nurses Association, or the SNA. Our recipient is described as someone known for taking initiative, planning and organizing, and fundraising for the Penny Committee. The SNA Member of the Year is Mary Whitman. Next is our student newspaper, the Clackamas Sprint. This person is always willing to help other students in the class and do their stories. They always volunteer to cover events, from a downtown protest to vaccination clinic. They're always present, available, and happy, and even willing to take on extra work. The Clackamas Sprint Member of the Year is Joe Will Mulder. Next is our Honor Society, Phi Theta Kappa or PTK. This person volunteered to help with tasks that were not required and has shown commitment to PTK as a distinct contributor and leader. They jumped in with both feet to serve as the VP of Fellowship. They encourage others to support the officer team, even taking on meeting minutes. They host game nights and help everyone relax and connect. She exemplifies Phi Theta Kappa and everything it's all about. But leadership, fellowship, scholarship, and service. The PTK Member of the Year is Blue Hill. For our final club, we have more somber note. The Horticulture Club had one of its long-standing members pass away this last year. The group decided to honor him by selecting him as the Member of the Year posthumously. Mikey Mercer was generous, dedicated, and enthusiastic. He had been an active member of the treasurer. He had been an active member in the treasurer for the club for many years. He continued to participate in club meetings over Zoom, even when only taking one class at a time. His mother described him as someone that was really comfortable in the Horticulture Club, and it was an important part of his life. Please join me in taking a moment of silence to support the Horticulture Club and honoring Mikey Mercer. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, John, for listening to the speech.
Thank you, Ben, and congratulations to all the club recipients. And for those, if I didn't mention before, if they're not here, we'll make sure to get it to them. And in Mikey's case, we're going to mail it to Smoker. We've talked to the horticulture department about that. Next, to present the Peer Assistant Award, I'm excited to welcome to the podium one of the biggest fans of student leaders on campus, bilingual college navigator Daniela Castro.
All right, so hopefully y'all can see me from over here. All right, so peer assistants are student leaders who work in various offices, providing valuable service to the college and serving as role models for other students. This person's passion for working with other students is seen every single day. They have shown the ability to take initiative and problem solve on several occasions when staff were not available for a quick question. They have learned the complexities of running an office and being in compliance with the ADA, as well as maintaining composure of professionalism during high demand, unpredictable, and last-minute changes. She has been an incredible, reliable, and consistent when working with students, staff, and faculty at CCC. She has shown great leadership throughout the year and encompasses the skills and abilities to foster CCC's mission to serve students in our community. In summary, she's the best. She has been an incredible asset in her role in the Disability Resource Center. The award for Outstanding Peer Assistant goes to Iris Bonillo. It matches her hair.
Thank you, Daniela. The next award category is for contributions to Associated Student Government. One of the exciting things about this ceremony is welcoming back former student leaders. Please welcome the 2018-2019 ASG Vice President and the recipient of the Coogie Award, Natalia Rodriguez.
Hello. The Associated Student Government, or ASG, serves the CCC student body through its program services and representation of fellow students. One member stands out among this group of leaders, worthy of special recognition as ASG Member of the Year. One nominator highlights 3 things about this student: their professionalism, being open to feedback, and making ASG fun. They describe this person as leading by example for others in ASG with poise and precision, as someone who looks for opportunities to gain feedback and leverages it so to make informed decisions and to inject lighthearted introductions and brain breaks into meetings. Another nominator points to his kindness shown to them as they navigate ASG and the college experience. A third nominator points to all the administrative work that he provides for each meeting, since he never fully got to leave the secretary position when he took over as president in January. Distinguished guests, the award for ASG Member of the Year goes to Josiah Smith.
Congratulations, Josiah, if you're out there. And great to see you again, Natalia. Thank you so much for coming back. Next, the award for contributions to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our presenter is another alum, a former peer assistant in the Multicultural Center, and one of the recipients of this award last year. Please welcome to the podium, Kara Reed.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. Okay. So the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Award was created to recognize students who have helped to create an inclusive, equitable, culturally competent, and supportive environment by modeling behavior that enriches our community and/or worked to advance the DEI strategic plan priorities. That's a mouthful. This student is a tireless advocate for equity issues. They are described as a strong leader who always supports and uplifts their fellow students. One nominee describes them as always having the social awareness and empathy to check in and center the emotional needs of everyone in the room. As a peer assistant in the Multicultural Center, this person is described as dedicated to making the space welcoming and inviting. They also volunteered to help on the DEI subcommittee for research and training to develop a comprehensive resource toolkit for CCC employees to utilize, and recently assisted in the library and developing a Juneteenth reading guide for the college's upcoming celebration of that important holiday. The award for outstanding contributions to diversity, equity, and inclusion goes to B. Notes Borit.
Thank you so much, Kara. We've arrived at the final awards, the Coogie Awards. We were created to honor those students demonstrating significant leadership across the college with a high GPA and lasting impact on academic or co-curricular life. We are fortunate to have an outstanding individual return to present this year's Coogies. Please welcome last year's ASG president and recipient of this award and current student fee committee member of the Associated Students of Portland State University Student Government, Lainey Sitka.
Hello. So the Coogie Award recipients are nominated by students, faculty, and staff and demonstrate leadership in a method that models personal integrity, inspires a shared vision, challenges the process, enables others to act, or encourages the heart. They also must be strong academically, and other CCC students must be positively influenced or impacted by these students' actions. This year, we recognize 5 students. Our first student is described as consistent and compassionate, taking on additional projects to help create a more inclusive environment at the college. They are also looking out for other students and speaking up on behalf of others. At meetings, this person always took notes, asked phenomenal questions, provided student perspective on issues discussed, and reported back to the rest of students in leadership positions when representing them on committees. Whether part of the DEI committee or strategic planning for the college, this student was very engaged in the conversation. In addition to committee work, they also demonstrated clear leadership on both ASG and within the Multicultural Center. From programming, including Heritage Month's boxes for students, to working on a new labor acknowledgement for the college. He was especially excited to help with Black History Month programming, and he collaborated with the Chief Diversity Officer, Casey Layton, to put together a video for the CCC community. Though he transferred this term to another college to follow different academic interests, we recognize his lasting impact for students over the past year. This Coogie Award goes to Ndweli Castleberry. Our next recipient leads effectively with compassion, cares about all of their fellow students on a personal level, always checking in with everyone individually to make sure they're doing all right. They do this while working full-time and taking 18 or more credits a term, all while overcoming significant challenges the past 2 years. One nominee describes her as an outstanding student leader, as editor-in-chief of the student newspaper, the Clackamas Print, for the 2nd year in a row. In this role, she creates a welcoming and safe environment for other editors and staff writers, making sure everything is on track and running smoothly. Additionally, she is the Vice President of Leadership for the Honor Society, Phi Theta Kappa, and models service and a strong commitment to academics. Our next Coogie Award goes to Laura Canada. Our third recipient has been recognized by students and staff alike for being dedicated, selfless, and clearly caring for the well-being of others. One nominee describes them as the breakout star this year, taking on the responsibility in the free food pantry by making weekly, or sometimes twice weekly, trips to Gleaners to make sure the pantry is supplied with fresh produce. This is all far beyond expectations in her role as a peer assistant in the Student Life office, where she often picks up extra shifts to help her fellow students while they need it, and making suggestions that will make student spaces better. She even took on a role on ASG so that she could be more involved in helping the students. As one of the nominators says, we value her contribution to the team so much, I don't know how we get all the work done without her. Our next Coogie Award goes to Emily Dallas. The nomination for our next recipient begins with the following. All I can say is wow. The students' exceptional leadership qualities have made a big impact on their team and to work to support students. This work includes taking the initiative to create and update training and procedure documents to be more organized and consistent, making tons of outreach calls to students who have received an alert for attendance concerns or not passing at midterm, and then connecting with them resources to help with them being successful or understanding their options, tackling huge data cleanups, creating awesome video tutorials to help students through scheduling appointments, and countless mini projects, all in addition to her primary duties of managing high-volume calls and emails as a peer assistant for the advising department. In the leadership class, she demonstrates clear concern in peer support and uplifting the voices of others, while also keeping group projects well organized. The next Coogie Award goes to Carla Phillips. And now for our final Coogie Award. This student is described as friendly, intelligent, and someone who genuinely cares about our college. They are very knowledgeable about what is happening on campus while remaining approachable and being someone who would go out of their way for others, particularly to uplift historically marginalized voices. In their role as Vice President of ASG, she is clearly engaged in meetings, always participating in the discussion and advocating for other students, especially those that are facing financial challenges in paying for school. She also coordinates the ASG application and interview process with professionalism and grace, making everyone feel comfortable in managing the process efficiently. She has also been a vocal representative at DEI committees, meetings, and has continued to be an active member in the Multicultural Center even after changing roles within ASG. This year, she was also an editor in the Clackamas Print and has served as president of Phi Theta Kappa, the Honor Society. She will soon receive a degree from CCC with a near perfect GPA, even though she won't complete her high school diploma until next year. And in between now and then, she will serve as our next ASG president. The final Coogie Award goes to Madalena Atkins.
And that brings us to our conclusion. Thank you so much for coming or watching. Thank you to my partner at the podium, Carrie Schumacher. Congratulations to all the award nominees and recipients, and thanks to all of you for the time and energy you give to CCC and fellow students. I'm told the recording of this event will be available at the same URL as the live feed, so if you hear of anyone who wasn't able to be present or viewing live, or if you want to watch yourself later, you can still watch at any time. I hope you enjoyed the evening, and in these challenging times, it is especially important that we all remain connected with one another after the academic year is over. Please make sure to reach out and check in on each other throughout the summer. Have a great night and be well.